My 34M wife, 29F, is having an emotional affair. What do I do? Throw away for obvious reasons. My wife Anna, 29F, and I, 34M, have been together for 8 years, married for 5. We've always been that stable couple in our friend group. The ones people went to for advice. The ones who hosted dinners. The ones everyone assumed had it all figured out. And maybe that's why this hurts so much. It started small. She got promoted to a new department earlier this year. More responsibility, more pressure, new team. I was happy for her. She started telling me a lot about her work friend, Liam, 31M. I didn't think anything of it at first. I've worked in mixed environments for years. I don't get jealous over a lunch coffee, but it slowly changed tone. She started comparing me to him in these small, passive ways. Liam's so good at remembering little things. Liam's really thoughtful. I wish you'd talk to me the way he does. At first, I brushed it off as stress talk. I'd ask if everything was okay. She'd say she was just tired. Meanwhile, her phone started living face down. She'd step out to take a quick Teams call at 9 p.m. She'd light up when his text tone went off. You know the look, that tiny smile, the one you hope is meant for you. Fast forward 3 weeks ago. She fell asleep on the couch, phone unlocked. I didn't go snooping. I literally just picked it up to plug it in, and a notification popped up. A wall of late-night paragraphs between them. Long confessions, venting, jokes, complaints about me. Him calling her my person. She wrote that she feels more seen by him than by the man at home. Gut punch. Not overtly sexual, but emotionally intimate in a way she no longer is with me. I confronted her the next day. She didn't deny it. She cried. She said, "We're just close friends, but I guess I knew it was crossing lines." She said she feels alive when talking to him. And then she followed that with, "You shut me out months ago." That part hit just as hard because maybe there's some truth. I've been under enormous work pressure. I have been distracted, but I didn't realize I was losing her to someone who was listening harder than I was. Since the confrontation, she hasn't cut him off. She said she needs time to figure out her feelings. That absolutely killed me. I offered counseling. She said, maybe. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, feeling like I'm in a holding pattern while some other man is emotionally living in my marriage. So here I am, a dude on the internet asking strangers, is an emotional affair a marriage-ending situation? Is this salvageable? Or am I already watching the prelude to divorce in slow motion? Because right now, I feel like I'm competing for my own wife's heart, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to be angry or if I'm just too late. I still love her. I want to fix this, but I also don't want to be the consolation prize while she decides if I'm worth choosing. What do I even do from here? Update. 2 weeks later. A lot has happened since I first posted. First, I suggested couples counseling again, not as a maybe, but as a concrete step. I told her I'd already looked up therapists, had availability, and was willing to do the work. She didn't say yes. She said, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Translation: I'm not done with him. That's when the panic really set in. The kind of grief that just sits in your chest like cement. I realized I've been trying to resuscitate a marriage while she's still emotionally living somewhere else. 2 nights later, I told her, calmly, that I needed a real answer about boundaries, specifically whether she was willing to stop emotionally confiding in him. She stared at the floor for a long time before finally admitting, he's the person I connect with right now. I don't feel like I can cut him off. Not won't. Can't. That was the first time I felt something inside me break toward detachment instead of heartbreak. I've read so many relationship posts over the years where people say, the emotional affair is worse than a physical one. I used to think that was cliché. It's not. It's a very specific kind of pain. Watching your partner give someone else the part of herself you thought was yours. I decided I needed my own therapist. I booked one the next morning. Here's the twist I didn't expect. Once I stepped back, she suddenly noticed. She asked why I was being distant, why I wasn't trying harder, why I wasn't asking how she was feeling. I told her, as gently as I could, that I can't fix a marriage I'm not being allowed into, that I won't be a placeholder while she emotionally dates someone else inside of my marriage. That was the first time she actually looked scared. She asked if I was thinking about leaving. I said I was thinking about protecting myself. I haven't filed anything. I haven't moved out. But mentally, I've shifted into observe her actions, not her tears. And I've noticed something. She hasn't once voluntarily stepped back from him. Not even a little. She hides it better now, but she's still choosing him. I'm starting to understand what I refused to admit before posting. I'm not losing my wife. I already lost the version of her who chose me first. And now I have to decide if I'm willing to stay and hope the old version comes back, or if I leave before I become a ghost in my own home. Update number 2. The breaking point. The confrontation didn't happen in some dramatic screaming match. It was quieter, which somehow made it worse. Last Friday night, she told me she was going for a late walk to clear her head. Except I saw the Lyft notification on her lock screen when she set her phone down. The pickup was to a bar near her office. I didn't follow her. I didn't blow up her phone. I just sat there. About an hour later, she texted me, "I think I'm going to stay out for a bit. Don't wait up." And that was the moment something inside me fully snapped from pain into clarity. Not anger, not jealousy, just finality. She came home after midnight. Light perfume, hair touched up, the look of someone who wants to pretend nothing happened but is aware she crossed a line. She tried to slip past me to the bedroom, but I was sitting at the table waiting. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't emotional. And I think that terrified her more than anything. I just asked, "Did you spend the evening with him?" She froze. Her throat worked like she was scrambling for a lie. Then she gave up and nodded. Tiny, guilty nod. No friend, no coworkers, just him. That was the first physical confirmation I've had that the emotional affair is now, at minimum, emotional intimacy in person. Maybe more. I honestly don't know, and at this point the details don't even change the betrayal. I told her, "I won't share my marriage with another man. If you're choosing him, just say it." She cried, said she's confused, said she didn't plan for any of this, said she didn't mean to hurt me. But here's the thing I finally said out loud. You didn't trip into an emotional affair. You walked into it slowly, every day, while choosing not to walk back home. She went silent. She didn't deny it. I told her I was taking space for myself and would be staying with a friend for a few nights. Not to punish her, but because I refused to be background furniture while she emotionally auditions another relationship. For the first time since this started, she was the one asking me not to leave. She reached for me, and I stepped back. Her face crumpled. Not in anger, but in genuine fear. That was the shift. Before, she had me locked in panic mode while she explored her feelings. Now she's suddenly realizing she might actually lose me. I packed a bag and walked out. Not dramatically, just decisively. And that's where I am now, staying at a friend's house for the first time, breathing air that doesn't feel heavy. Update number 3. The shift. I didn't realize how fogged over my head had been until I left the house. The first night sleeping at my friend's place felt weirdly peaceful. No tension humming in the walls, no waiting for a phone ding that wasn't mine, no scanning her mood like a radiation meter. Just quiet. The second day, something clicked. I stopped obsessively wondering what she was doing. Not because it didn't hurt, but because I finally understood. I have no control over her choices. I only have control over mine. I started doing things for me again. Went to the gym for the first time in months. Actually ate a meal without nausea from stress. Booked another therapy session. Reconnected with an old friend I drifted from. Slept, like really slept. Meanwhile, she unraveled. The shift was fast once she saw I wasn't orbiting her anymore. Her behavior since I left. Texting me constantly. "Can we talk? Where are you emotionally? Do you still love me?" Asking when I'm coming home. accusing me of just giving up, suddenly wanting counseling now, after weeks of I don't know if I'm ready, subtly checking if I'm seeing anyone panic-teary voice messages at night. The irony is brutal. When I was begging her to fight for the marriage, she treated me like a backup plan. The second I stopped being backup capital B plan, she realized plan A wasn't guaranteed. My therapist said something that stuck. You didn't lose your wife. She stepped out of the marriage. All you did was finally stop standing in the doorway holding it open. That sentence cracked something open in me. I haven't told her whether I'm coming back yet. I told her I need space while I evaluate if the version of her who betrayed me is the one I'd be returning to. Because I'm not coming home just to resume being the emotional understudy to another man. She asked if I was done with the marriage. And for the first time, I didn't answer quickly. Because now I finally get a say. Not just reactions, not just damage control, but an actual decision about what my future looks like. And in this weird, painful, but empowering clarity, I'm realizing something. I might actually be okay without her. I didn't expect that, but I can feel the possibility forming. Update number 4. The consequences. It only took 3 more days for the shift to fully land. Not in my head, but in hers. The first crack was jealousy. She texted me late one night. Who are you with? Not, are you okay? Not, I miss you. Who? There was a sudden panic in her tone, like the possibility of me finding someone else only just now occurred to her. The second crack was fear. She asked if I wanted to schedule counseling this week, then tomorrow, then tonight if anyone has cancellations. This is the same woman who said she wasn't ready for 3 straight weeks. Now, she's sprinting toward repair only because I stopped chasing her. The third crack was realization. When I told her I was taking more time before deciding anything, there was this long pause before she said, I didn't think you'd actually leave me. And that right there summed up the whole problem. She never feared losing me. She assumed my love was unconditional availability. Now she's seeing my love is not a leash. I can walk away too. Her behavior over the last 48 hours. She asked if I would block him. Translation: she knows the dynamic flipped, and now she feels threatened. She asked if I met someone at the gym. She asked if I was emotionally withdrawing from her. She suddenly started sending long messages about our memories, our early relationship, how good we used to be. She said she feels sick not knowing where my head is. Meanwhile, I have not raised my voice. I haven't begged. I haven't interrogated. I've been calm, and it's rattling her more than anger ever could. Because now she's sitting with the reality she kept pushing onto me. The fear of losing your person. The biggest flip happened yesterday. She asked if I would come home, even just to talk. I told her I would consider it, not commit. She got quiet, and then she finally said the one sentence she avoided from day one. I'll cut him off if that's what it takes. There was no defensiveness left. No, I need time. No, we're just friends. Just fear, real fear, of consequences. This is the moment every betrayed spouse waits for, when they finally realize they are not holding the leverage anymore. But here's the twist. Now that she's finally willing to cut him off, I don't know if I still want her. Not revenge, not spite, just a painfully clear awareness. She didn't choose me until she believed she could lose me. And I don't know if I want to be someone's second choice after a fantasy collapsed. Update number 5. The sit-down. I agreed to meet her in person. Neutral location, not the house. We met at a small cafe we used to go to early in our relationship. I didn't suggest it. She did, which already told me she's in nostalgia. Repair mode. She looked nervous in a way I've never seen. Pale, fidgety hands, eyes red like she barely slept. Not the confident, I'm confused but entitled to options woman from 2 weeks ago. This was someone who had finally collided with consequence. The conversation started stiff. Small talk, long pauses. Then I cut through it and told her, if we're talking, I need honesty. Not half-truths, not damage control. Actual honesty. She nodded, like she'd been waiting for that to drop. And then the truth started coming out. What she admitted. She was leaning on him emotionally for months. She knew it was an emotional affair. Long before I confronted her. She hid certain conversations on purpose. She did meet him alone more than once. He confided in her that he had feelings. She felt like she had feelings too, but she was scared to say it out loud. And then the line that landed like a punch. I didn't stop because I didn't think I was actually risking losing you. There it was. The entitlement. The assumption I would just keep waiting. I asked her straight. Did it turn physical? She paused for a long time, and I could tell she was deciding whether to lie or confess. Then she said, no, not yet. If you hadn't left, I don't know if I would have kept that line. That "not yet" told me everything. If I hadn't walked out, I would have been living with a countdown to an affair. Then she cried. Not theatrical tears, but the quiet kind that come when the denial finally breaks. I never realized what I was destroying until you stopped being there to cushion me. She said she told him she needed to cut contact. He pushed back. You're making a mistake. He doesn't understand you like I do. Which, honestly, made her see him more clearly. She said she suddenly saw he didn't love her. He loved the version of her that wasn't accountable. Here's the turn. She asked if I'm willing to try rebuilding. For the first time, I didn't say yes. I told her, rebuilding isn't me chasing you. It's you proving you want to be married to me, not just afraid of losing me. Shockingly, she agreed. No defensiveness, no bargaining. She asked what it would take for me to even consider coming home. So I laid out conditions, calmly. Complete no contact with him. Verifiable, not symbolic. Transparency going forward, not surveillance, but honesty. Individual therapy for her, plus couples therapy together. She acknowledges why she crossed the boundary, not just that she did. Rebuilding emotional connection starts from zero. I am not resuming old normal. She nodded through all of them. Then I told her I still wasn't sure if I even want reconciliation. Not yet. And that's what finally broke her composure. Because this time, she realized I'm not negotiating from fear anymore. Where things stand now, we agreed. 30 days of separation with intent to evaluate. She starts therapy next week. She sends a formal no-contact text, which I will see. I stay out of the home while I decide if her effort is real or regret-driven. For the first time, I'm not clinging to her. I'm choosing from a place of self-respect, not panic. And I can feel her realizing the version of me she thought was permanently available is gone. Final update. The decision 30 days passed. And they told me more than words ever could. She was trying. She cut contact. She went to therapy. She texted me updates. She cried. A lot. She started sounding like someone genuinely remorseful, not just afraid. But the thing I couldn't shake was this. She only chose our marriage after it became a loss, not when it was still a choice. Every therapy session I had on my own just sharpened that truth. About halfway through the 30 days, I realized I wasn't grieving her anymore. I was grieving the illusion I'd been holding on to, the version of us that didn't actually exist at the end. I still met with her a few times. To check in, to talk, to see whether anything in me still wanted to fight for it. But what I felt wasn't connection. It was closure. The final conversation we met at the house, because at some point you have to stop hovering in limbo. She looked wrecked, like she already knew. I didn't draw it out. I told her gently, I don't think I can rebuild something I don't trust anymore. She cried immediately, not the panicked, bargaining cry from earlier, but the hollow, I know I did this kind. She asked if there was anything she could do. And the worst part is, months ago, I would have given the world for that question. Now, It just landed too late. I told her I still care about her. I always will. But I can't build a future with someone who only realized she wanted me after she was standing at the edge of losing me. She nodded through tears. Really nodded. Like she finally understood this was consequence, not punishment. She said, "I thought I had more time." And I said, "That's the mistake everyone makes before they lose someone." The aftermath, I moved forward with filing. Not angry, not vengeful. Just done. The strangest part wasn't the divorce paperwork. It was the first night afterward, when I realized I felt lighter than I have in months. Like I could finally exhale without bracing for impact. She sent one last message a few days later. "I'm sorry I realized too late who I was losing." I didn't respond with bitterness. I just wrote, "I hope you become someone who doesn't need to lose things to recognize their value." And that was it. Where I am now, I'm focusing on rebuilding myself, not my marriage. Therapy is helping. I'm reconnecting with friends, rediscovering routines, learning how to be someone who chooses himself first instead of someone trying to be chosen. And here's the surprising truth. I'm not afraid of starting over anymore. I'm afraid of ever shrinking myself again to be good enough for someone who was already half gone. She taught me a painful lesson, but it came with freedom on the other side. 6 months later, 6 months out, I barely recognized the version of myself who wrote the first post. I kept the house. I renovated the spare room into a personal office/gym setup. I started hiking again. I go out more. I see my friends more. I laugh more. I live more. The weirdest part of healing is when you realize the pain didn't destroy you. It pruned you. My ex and I are civil but distant. She respected the no contact, signed papers without fighting, and moved into a small apartment closer to work. I thought that chapter was fully closed until the karmic twist hit. What happened to him? Work guy. He didn't choose her afterward. Once she cut him off to save the marriage, before she knew I was leaving, his interest faded. He didn't chase. He didn't fight. He didn't become her next great love story. He stopped trying the minute there was emotional cost attached to her. And word got around their office. Emotional affairs have ripples. Coworkers noticed. HR got wind of it. He eventually requested a transfer, not her. And the most brutal irony? About 2 months later, he started dating someone else on their team. Someone younger, new to the company. Clean slate, no baggage. My ex didn't just lose me. She lost the fantasy too. The safe landing place she risked our marriage for? Gone the second reality entered the room. The real karmic hit. We unexpectedly crossed paths at a mutual friend's birthday dinner last month. She pulled me aside afterward and said quietly, "I didn't just lose my husband. I lost the version of myself I respected." That's when I realized my karma wasn't watching her suffer. My karma was no longer being the guy who would have endured it. The twist for me. 2 weeks before that dinner, I met someone new. Not a rebound, not a distraction. Someone grounded, warm, and emotionally present in a way I forgot was possible. No labels yet, just connection. But it feels healthy in a way I didn't know I was missing. My therapist told me, sometimes life doesn't give you back what you lost. It gives you what you never would have reached for while you were holding on. I get it now. Final full circle truth. She gambled on emotional validation. She lost stability, respect, and the person who truly loved her. I gambled on walking away. I gained freedom, peace, and the chance to be chosen first, not as consolation. That's the twist. What she thought was her awakening became her consequence, and what I thought was my collapse became my beginning.